rebuilding. A catastrophic failure, a new start. Physically, mentally, our careers, our businesses. Step back, first step, next step. The driver in me just wants to get it done tomorrow. We'll do this, do that, let's move this, where are we at with this? You build some confidence, build some self-esteem, start to feel better about yourself. The Silverback Blueprint Podcast, a show for men over 40 who focus on getting stronger, staying motivated, building discipline, creating a community, and becoming truly happy. Hey guys, welcome to episode 142 of the Silverback Blueprint Podcast. Goals. Gotta have them. Well, tune in next week when we cover another fascinating subject. And all kidding aside, guys, you know, we're recording this podcast now in September, I should say. It's coming out first week of November, I'm informed by our producer, Luke. I like talking that way because people think that, you know, my God, they're in a studio and it's crazy and like there's like parking and everything. And like, no, it's not. But Luke is here from Podcast Wagon. He is our producer extraordinaire. So every once in a while when I'm running a podcast and I want to kind of think when this is going to hit the streets, I'll ask him, you know, when's this going to hit? So he had just told me previously that we were looking at the first week of November. So bringing it back to goals. As November comes around, we start thinking about the end of the year. We start thinking about the new year, right? And inevitably, we're going to get into one of those New Year's resolution situations at some drunk opportunity with a bunch of people that are sweaty and trying to kiss you and welcome you to the new year. I really don't like any of that part. But for a lot of people, that's the only time they really think about goals and changes that they want to do. And it's a little too little, a little too late, right? Especially, you know, if that's how much thought you put into it. But for a lot of people, I find it's a fascinating subject, and I find it's something that I'm always working on and trying to improve upon, is what are your goals? Do you have goals? Do you feel you need goals? If you're super well adjusted and you've got the life O'Reilly and you're happy with every aspect of your life and stuff like that, then this probably isn't a conversation for you, but odds are you're probably not even listening to this podcast if that's where you are in life. And if you're there and you're really happy and you're getting your shit done, I'm impressed. I'm proud of you. I want to be you. But for the rest of us that aren't quite there yet, goals is a subject that comes up when we want to make changes and we want to move towards something. Target, if you will. We see all the cool acronyms like goals have to be SMART, you know, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely. So it's true, right? That's kind of like the nuts and bolts of a goal. But for me, what I find interesting is where people are at with their goals. And we just talked about last episode about the emotional attachment to the changes that we want to do, right? So the same thing too. If we select a goal, we need to be emotionally attached to it. But that goal has to mean something. So do you have goals? Have you stopped and thought about what your goals are? Have you set your goals up at the beginning of the year like everybody else and haven't come back to revisit them, to see where you're at, to do that measurable, specific thing that we just talked about? Or is that something we just sort of throw up there in January and just hope we get there by December? I think for a lot of us, we get caught up in that. Or do you have bigger goals? Are your goals big? Are they real? Are they real true goals to you? Everybody wants to pay their house off. Everybody wants to retire. Everybody wants to travel. We hear this all the time. Oh, I want to lose 10 pounds. Yes, those are goals. But are they big goals? Are they big for you? Do your goals scare you? We see that meme a lot on Facebook and on Instagram and Pinterest. Your goals should be so big that they scare you. Well, I agree with that. Especially if it's a big goal, right? If your goal is just fucking take the garbage out on time every Wednesday, it's more of a to-do list. But if, you know, it's a start. But that's definitely not going to scare you, depending on the neighborhood you live in, I guess. So that comes around to the thing that I like to really ask people when we talk about goals. The goals that you have, are they really your goals? Or are they the goals that people have around you? Is it the society goals? It's the, you know, go to university, get a good job, you know, work till a certain date, retire, and then travel. And dude, if you're all into that and you're 100% motivated by that, then that's great. That's a great goal. But is that your goal? Or is that the goal that, you know, where you, depending on where you're growing up and the environment you're in, that's just put upon you? I know people that had goals where it was like, I just want a job so that I can get to Saturday and do what I want on the weekends. I'm like, all right. Again, it seems more like an action plan and a to-do list. And the end result of just getting to Saturday doesn't seem to be very big, rewarding, or scary. But if that's truly what you want, then I think that's a great goal. So is it really your goal? Are your goals too small? Are you setting little goals out there just to say that you have goals? You know, my goal is to save $1,000. Wow, okay. If you make fucking $9,000 a year, that's a pretty good goal. If you make $50,000 a year, that's not so big a deal, right? So that's the whole thing, right? Sometimes we make small goals so we feel good about ourselves. We feel like we're moving towards something. So we have we go through the motions of it, kind of pretend that we're achieving, when really, again, is it more of just a to-do list? Is it you just adulting? You know? Capper diem, crushed, you know, seized the day and stuff. And if that's really about just getting to work 5 minutes before your shift starts, that doesn't seem to be really 10xing your life, life-changing. Now, if you're like, for some people where it truly is hard for you to get your life together so you can be on work on time, and that's one of your goals, and you have to make things better habits to do that, then yeah, okay, that's a pretty good goal. That's a change. But at the end of the day, if our goals are too small, they don't serve us any purpose as well. Do your goals need to be bigger? Do we need to use words like vision, quest? Do we need to do that so that we want to put together something that's worthy of that title? You know, I find when people are working things, I think, you know, and they truly are trying to set goals, there'll be different levels of them. There'll be the closer goals, the shorter target ones, the 50-meter target ones. And then there's the long ones. Some people like to set long far range goals. You know, someday I want to climb Mount Everest. And right now you have trouble climbing a set of fucking stairs. So that's a long-range goal. And the problem with a really big long-range goal is that it's purposely kept out of the way out there so that it's there, but in the back of your mind, you know that you're probably not going to fucking get there. Or you feel like, oh, I have time. I'll get to it. I'll start next week. I'll start next month moving towards that goal. I have time. As you get older, though, you realize you have less time. And some of our goals change. And sometimes we need to change our goals. Because we change. Who we are is changing as we evolve. When we're younger, it's about the bigger house. It's about the 2 cars. It's about traveling twice a year. As we get older, we realize, you know what? It's about having a house that's paid for, or having a house that's manageable. Or it's not about 2 cars, but it is about traveling more. So maybe your goals have changed. But either way, if you don't sit down and plan, don't sit down and think, don't sit down and spend time figuring out what emotionally motivates you, what would make you really happy, fulfilled, then you really can't set goals that are for you. Because a goal should challenge you. A goal should make you want to move towards it, make you have to be better at everything that you're doing to get to that goal. Because it truly is, it's the journey, not the destination. However, we still need to get to that destination so we can sort of sit there and say, hey, I made this. This is a checkpoint. Think of a goal more of a checkpoint. And then you can look back and appreciate what it took to get there, but then set another goal. Set something a little bit bigger. Last year, 2017, we went to Europe. Life-changing for me. Life-changing for me. I loved it. Never took that much time off work. Never went to Europe. Was never on a cruise. I loved Barcelona. I loved Greece. I loved Italy. There's so many cool things. And I sat there and said, I've got to come back. I want to come back. But you know what I haven't done? I haven't set the goal of when am I going back? I didn't put that line in the sand yet. And I know I really do want to get back. I really want to be there. But I have not spent the time to draw that line in the sand and say, hey, in 2019 or 2020, I want to go here and spend 2 weeks and put it all together. And then turn around and say, okay, so in order to do that, it's going to cost X amount. In order to do that, who's coming with me? My wife, my family, just me. Those are all good, whatever works for you and is important to you. And then what would that look like? And what would that cost? And then you have to reverse engineer it. Well, in order for me to be able to go here, and if it's just me, it's going to cost X amount. So I have 18 months to put this much aside. I have to set up so I can take 2 weeks off. I have to organize my business. I have to organize my staff. I have to organize my family. I haven't done that yet. So is it really a goal or is it a dream? A lot of you guys listening to me are into powerlifting and lifting and stuff like that, right? You have a goal of getting stronger. But how are you putting that into play? I'll tell you right now, I say it all the time. If you want to get stronger, compete, because you put a line in the sand. Makes you have to go to the gym, makes you want to go to the gym, makes you realize that, hey, I've got 15 weeks to get ready to hit this number. Whereas if you don't do that and you don't cross that line in the sand, then your goal is to get stronger, but then it's vague. It expands and contracts based on how we feel, based on our emotions that day, that week, that workout. So if we have a bigger goal, a more definite goal, a specific goal, a line in the sand, that's when you show up on days in the gym where you really don't feel like it. Those are the days you normally would stay home. But hey, I got to get in. It's day 2 of bench. I got to get it in. So I better get to bed a little earlier today. I better eat a little bit better tomorrow. So all of a sudden you start dialing those other things in because you have a goal, a specific goal. And the bigger the goal, the more emotionally attached you're to that goal, the more you're going to do to achieve it. So if you don't have goals, you don't have a vision, you don't have a plan, you're just walking around aimlessly, kind of doing some good stuff, getting distracted, trying to get back online. Hey, maybe if I buy these new shoes, I'll feel more motivated to work out. Right? We get caught up on those little things. I'll watch some videos on YouTube about guys benching. That'll get me motivated. Yeah, maybe it'll get you motivated for tonight's workout. But it's about setting goals and having good goals. The better the goal, the better quality the goal, and the more specific it is to you, and the more it makes you slightly uncomfortable or greatly uncomfortable, but still realistic, the more you're going to get from it. The bigger the sense of accomplishment you're going to have when you get to that goal. You hear that term all the time, shoot for the star, shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you'll still land among the stars. It's true. I have a goal of benching 600. It was my goal last year. Came close, just missed 573. My goal again this year is still to bench 600, but I want to get even closer. In fact, I want to do it, period. But if I didn't have that goal of 600 last year, I wouldn't got as strong as I got last year. And I wouldn't be as strong as I am right now moving towards that 600. So it's okay not to achieve your goal right out of the gate. It's okay to miss. Maybe that's why a lot of people don't do goals, because they're afraid of missing. I think a lot of people just don't choose goals because they're lazy. Humans are inherently lazy. We want to do the least amount of work possible to get through the day. That's just the way we are innately. We're not fucking chipmunks where we gather food all day. But we need to look at things a little bit differently. Every day has to have a purpose. You hear it all the time. A purpose-driven life is a more fulfilled life. Well, that'll start by setting goals, personal goals. And then you get better at it, you set bigger goals. And then you look at setting goals that affect other people. That's the one thing I like, I'm doing with Hostile, is my goal with Hostile is to help people over 40 and 50 get better. Physically, for sure. Mentally, for sure. Spiritually. We're halfway through. Let's finish the second half on top. Let's create the life we truly want. Let's become the person we really want to become. But let's put that work into it. And let's set those goals. At the end of the day, right, the alternative is regret. I was having this conversation with my son the other day, talking about hockey. He wants to play hockey. He's trying to figure out back and forth where he wants to go, what level. And, he's a lot of people want him to play this level. A lot of people want to play that level. He's trying to balance it out. He's 17. He's going into grade 12. He has a car. He has a girlfriend. He has a job. And he's trying to balance it all out. And I get it. I see it. So all I said to him last night, we were talking about it, I said, all I want you to do, son, is not have regrets. I said, the advantage of being 50 is I can look back and see the things that I didn't do that I regret. And I wish someone would have had a conversation with me early on about doing the things so I don't have the regrets early on. I learned that lesson later on in life. And I'm getting shit done. But I have to remind myself, with regrets, and as we get older, we have less time to make up for those regrets. So I told him, I said, you know what, just, spend some time thinking about what is it that you would regret not doing the most. Interesting response he had. Because I don't have time to think about it. And I said, I truly believe you feel that with school, with work, and the girlfriend. But what I'm trying to get them to understand is that you have to make the time. We have to create the time, that space in the morning. Again, here we go, fuckers, talking about rituals again. But it's true. If you don't take a moment to fucking think about things, when are you going to think about things? When it's too late? Because that's what most people end up doing, when it's too late. And the pain of regret is 1,000 times worse than the pain of failure. 1,000 times minimum. Ask anyone who has regret. I'd rather take a fucking beating and a punch to the face than walk away thinking that I fucking, was scared. Because I've been in both situations. I've been scared and walked away. And I've been scared and I've taken a fucking beating. And you know what? I feel better about the beating. It's that simple. In actuality, metaphorically, it's the same thing. Regret's the motherfucker. And if you don't have goals and you don't set real goals and you don't work on achieving them, that space is going to be filled with regret. Some of the goals I have going forward, is obviously the brand keep getting stronger, me keep benching, getting stronger. I have this 600-pound goal for sure. But some of my bigger goals are to reach more people, help more people, really do something that I can turn around and say that, you know what, I mattered to some people out there and I helped some people out there. And me existing on this planet had a positive effect on other people on that same planet. We're going to focus on one planet at a time. That's what I want to do. I want to help men over 40 and 50. I know I got younger people listening to this podcast. Good for you. You're fucking ahead of the curve. I know I have women listening to this podcast. Love it. But I'm a dude, and I am in a dude's headspace, and I want to help other guys going through the same thing. I want to help other guys become more fulfilled because that's going to fulfill me. I said it before, doing this podcast helps me as much, if not more, than you guys listening to it. Because it helps me stay accountable. It helps me stay focused. It makes me focus on walking the walk as much as talking the talk. It's made a big impact on my life. So it's super important for me. And there's days where I'm tired. There's days where I'm like, oh, fuck, we got to record some podcasts. Because I'm human. That shit happens. But then I realize, you know what? Every month we have more and more downloads, more and more listeners. More and more often I run into people. Hey, I listened to your podcast. I love this episode. What do you think about this? So I have to keep going because it matters to other people now. So that's one of my goals, to keep building the podcast, keep building the brand, continue to build Hostile to represent. It's about going after what we truly want, to be hostile to mediocrity, to be hostile to regret. For us to realize that at 40 and at 50 and 60, we have so many years still left. It's up to us how we want to do it. The quality of life. We can improve continually no matter what age we are. The thing is, at our age now, at 40 and at 50 and at 60, we're going to appreciate it even more because it matters even more. It's lost on most 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds because they're in a different spot. I want people to listen to the podcast watch what we do and get motivated to get up and go to the gym and get stronger, to get up and start eating better and be healthier, to go out there and achieve their goals, things they truly want to do. That's what I want this brand to represent. That no matter who you are and what level you're at and where you're at, you can always get better. To me, that's a big goal. And I know if I focus on that, and I know if I make sure that whatever I do works towards helping people do that, my business will have all the success it deserves. I'll have all the success I deserve. It'll all work out. And I want to have fun along the way. I want to have a positive life. I want to sit there and 99 out of 100 days get up wanting to get up. That's the goal of having goals or a purpose. So at the end of the day, those are my goals. Some of them are bigger, loftier, will be ongoing. Some of these goals I'll never reach the end because I continue to want to keep improving. And some goals are as simple as I want to keep getting stronger. I want to keep getting leaner. I want to be able to have a healthier lifestyle. I want to feel better. I want to be strong. I want to be happy to put a fucking pair of jeans on and a t-shirt on and my biceps are thick and the chest is thick and that kind of stuff. I want to feel powerful. To me, it's super important. It's part of my identity and who I am. But I want to help others do the same thing. I want others to keep coming up to me and tell me how they're doing things now that they didn't think they could do a year ago. And they want to thank us for helping them, inspiring them, motivating them, showing them that it can be done. So for me, those are the things that I want to keep focusing on. I want to do better by the end of 2018 on this. I want to do better 2019 and 2020. I want to keep doing it. I want to keep creating great programs at the gym that help people physically and mentally improve. I love the clothing that we're doing. I love selling clothing. I love it. I fucking, since I was a kid, I remember sitting back and reading comic books and seeing the classifieds in the back and the catalogs to order stuff. I always loved that. And I always wanted a business where someone wants to buy something that I have, that I've created. It's a rush. I really do it. And I love when people buy our stuff and tell me how good it is and how much they like it and what it means to them. That's part of the thrill. And whether I sell a hoodie or 100 hoodies or 10,000 hoodies, each time that happens, I get pumped. I get excited because I see and I feel that something I'm creating is helping and benefiting others to the point where they too want to share it. They too want to represent it. That fuels the fuck out of me. And it makes me want to live to a higher standard, so I feel I deserve that. But that doesn't happen unless I have small goals, big goals, goals that scare me, goals that motivate me. And I want that for you guys. But again, it has to be your dream. It has to be your goals. I don't give a fuck what it is. And deep down, at our age, you know what you really would rather be doing. Or maybe at the very least, you know you don't want to do what you're doing now anymore. A lot of miserable people out there in their jobs because they fucking hate their job. But they like the fact that they make $75,000 or $100,000 a year and they've got a mortgage and 2 kids to put through school and all this stuff, so they feel stuck. But you know what? They're not happy. And you know what? Those kids would be happier if you were happier. The world around you would be happier if you were happier, if you were more fulfilled. So if you want to open up a fucking flower shop, then that's what you should be doing. If you want to sit there and you want to, have a restaurant or a cafe, that's what you should be doing. But figure out a way of doing it. Start on the side. Start creating it. Start living it. Start moving towards it. Sometimes we feel we want another aspect in our life or another life because we're not happy with the life we have now. So we think that, if I was doing this, I'd be so much happier. Maybe if it truly is a goal that means a lot to you, that truly is more you than what you're doing now. But maybe you're just unhappy where you're at now and you think the grass is greener on the other side. So if you're there, set a goal. Set a goal to explore that. You know, one of the coolest things I see that they do in high schools and university now that they didn't do when I was going through is you have these co-op programs. So partway through the year, you can go and actually spend time in that trade or that endeavor or that profession. I think that's phenomenal. Try it before you buy it. Because we have in our minds, we're 17 years old and we're told we have to pick a career now. But you don't even know who the fuck you are yet. And what do you think? You want to be a lawyer because you watch Suits? Maybe you do. Maybe that's it. But you know what? That's the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of other shit that goes on behind the scenes to be a lawyer. Or an accountant. Or a teacher. Or an assassin. The behind the scenes stuff, the day-to-day stuff, that doesn't get glorified and romanticized. No one's advertising the fact that you still got to clean the toilets in the gym every day if they're not clean. But that's got to be fucking done. That's not the exciting part, but it's got to have happen. So go spend some time doing it. One of the things I've been thinking about, is I'd like to look at opening up some sort of little restaurant or food thing that really coincides with the way we want to eat. Cleaner, healthier, less carbs, more protein, good fats. Coffee shop because I like coffee and stuff. I really wanted to look at doing something like that. But the smart thing would be for me to find a place that's doing it somewhere else where it wouldn't be competition and go work for them part-time. What's it really like? Maybe I'll fucking love it. Or maybe I'll go, oh, that's a fucking gong show. I'm not doing that. But isn't that a lot easier than turning around and just saying, hey, listen, I'm just going to get a loan because I qualify for a loan. And I'm going to fucking take a bunch of money. I'm going to roll the dice. And I'm going to start something. Why do you think so many fucking businesses fail? You get a buyout from work because you get downsized and you turn around and say, because, hey, I was good at this thing at work. I must be good at everything. So I'm going to open up a fucking restaurant or I'm going to open up a franchise of some sort. Right? And then you realize, holy fuck. Just because I was good at one thing doesn't mean I'm automatically good at anything else. Not right away. But you jumped in before looking. To me, that's not a big goal that scares you. That's a fucking big goal that fucking kills you. So if your goal really is, I get people all the time, Kurt, I want to open up a gym someday just like you. I'm like, fucking good luck. Do it. I love the business. It's also a tough fucking business. But so is every other business. So if I'm not emotionally attached to it and love it more than I hate it, then it's not going to work. A lot of gyms come and go. Right? To stick through, to persevere, to grow, that's the challenge. But that's the same challenge no matter what you do. So at the end of the day, you want to open up a gym? Go fucking work in one for free. Come see a guy like me and say, hey, Kurt, I'm going to work for you 10 hours a week for free because I want to learn what it's like to open up a gym. I'm like, all right, dude, let's fucking do it. Because I'll tell you right now, 3 months of doing that, you'll learn a fuck of a lot about the industry that you think is this. And maybe it'll fire you up and you'll fucking find that you found where you're supposed to be in life and away you go. Or you realize it's not what you thought it was going to be. And you know what? You didn't fucking blow the mortgage. You didn't blow the inheritance on the kids. You didn't fucking put yourself in a shitty spot that you're stuck now to dig yourself out of. So be smart about it. But set some goals and figure out a way to find out what it's like and move towards it. Smaller goals into bigger goals into huge goals. I think that's the way to do it. But bottom line is, nothing great's going to happen to you. Nothing fulfilling is going to happen to you. Really fulfilling. If you're not following a plan, if you don't have a goal, and you're not working towards something. Guys, that's all I have to say about that for now. Head on over to iTunes or at the end of this episode. Leave us a 5-star rating and a positive review. Head on over to hostilegear.com. Use the code Silverback to save 20% off amazing goal-achieving merchandise. And as always, guys, work hard, motherfuckers, and I'll talk to you guys later.